Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. President Tinubu commends Nigerian military for sacrifices to the nation. FG reverses mother tongue teaching policy, reinstates English as sole language of instruction. Plus, Trump signs spending bill to end longest shutdown in U.S. history. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. First in the news this morning is that President Bola Tinubu has hailed men and women of the Nigerian Armed Forces for their sacrifices to the nation. Speaking during the Nigerian Guild of Editors (NGE) conference in Abuja, Tinubu raised important questions about the important role they play, stating that given the risks Nigerian soldiers take to protect the territorial integrity of the country, the military deserves the support and encouragement of all Nigerians. The president's comments come amid concerns over insecurity in different parts of the country. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has urged media practitioners in Nigeria to freely criticize government policies, but do so with fairness and a sense of national responsibility. The president made the call at the All Nigerian Editors Conference in Abuja, where he acknowledged the vital role of the media in shaping public discourse and strengthening democracy. Tinubu noted that criticism should not be used to undermine the nation's progress, as the media must remain partners in building a stronger and more united country. Tinubu stated this while social media is enhancing citizens' journalism, it also increases the speed of misinformation. He said that in such an environment, the editorial function becomes more important, pointing out the critical principles of verification and balance of guides for journalists. Away from that, in a major policy reversal, the federal government has snapped the use of indigenous languages as a medium of instruction in Nigerian schools, restating English as a primary language of teaching and learning from pre-primary to tertiary levels. The announcement was made by the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, during the 2025 Language in Education International Conference organized by the British Council in Abuja. According to Alausa, the reversal was approved at the 69th meeting of the National Council on Education (NCE) held in Akure, Ondo State between November 3rd and 7th. A national performance review, the ministry explained, revealed that pupils taught mainly in local languages recorded higher failure rate in national examinations and demonstrated weaker English proficiency, a key skill for academic and professional advancement. Alausa further invited scholars and stakeholders with contrary evidence to present verifiable data, assuring that the government remains open to dialogue based on research and measuring outcomes. Meanwhile, the federal government has intensified the welfare reforms for serving and retired military personnel. It has paid 18 billion naira in group life insurance benefit and established a veteran data bank and call center. The Defense Minister, Mohammed Badaru, announced these packages while addressing reporters in Abuja on next year's Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Day. The minister said the welfare initiative formed part of the government's Soldier First policy aimed at improving the morale, living conditions and medical care for personnel and their families. According to him, the new veteran data bank will ensure efficient management of veteran affairs, while the call center will provide direct support for retired officers and families of fallen heroes. From the Red Chambers, the Senate has resolved to investigate the ongoing delineation exercise conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Warri Federal Constituency, Delta State, following concerns of alleged marginalization and irregularities raised in a petition before the upper chamber. The resolution followed a motion sponsored by Simon Lalong titled "Urgent Need for Intervention to Prevent Imminent Political Crisis" over the INEC delineation exercise in Warri Federal Constituency, Delta State. In his lead debate, Lalong said the motion was informed by a petition from the Shekiri ethnic nationality forwarded to the Senate Committee on Electoral Matters, alleging unjust treatment and marginalization of the Shekiri people in the recent INEC ward delineation exercise. The Senate subsequently resolved to refer the motion to the Committees on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, as well as Electoral Matters, directing them to investigate the allegations and report back within 4 weeks. In politics, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has reaffirmed that its national convention scheduled for November 15 to 16, 2025 in Ibadan, Oyo State, will proceed as planned despite a recent court ruling. A statement issued by the PDP National Publicity Secretary and Secretary of the 2025 National Convention Organizing Publicity Subcommittee, Dapo Olugunagba, dismissed report of the postponement as false, misleading, and the handiwork of political distractors. The statement further urged all party members and Nigerians to disregard the misleading claims being peddled to stop the PDP National Convention. Olugunagba added that the National Convention Committee is working tirelessly to ensure a smooth and successful exercise, noting that delegates and stakeholders had already begun arriving in Ibadan. In a separate development, the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) has announced that the 2025 Batch C orientation course will begin on Wednesday, November 19, 2025, across all orientation camps nationwide. According to the scheme, camp registration for all corps members will run from Wednesday, November 19th to midnight on Friday, November 21st, 2025. In a statement signed and released by its Director of Information and Public Relations, Caroline Embu, the scheme stated that due to capacity limitations across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory, only 40% of registered prospective corps members can be accommodated for the upcoming orientation program. Meanwhile, the NYSC assured those unable to secure placement in Batch C that they would be deferred to the next exercise. Let's move now to Africa, where the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mahamoud Yusuf, has warned that the continent's debt crisis is undermining development. Speaking in Ethiopia at the G20 African High-Level Dialogue on Debt Sustainability, Yusuf said public debt has grown to about $1.8 trillion. These represent about two-thirds of the continent's GDP and is largely due to the high cost of borrowing and limited access to concessional finance. Yusuf noted that in 2024 alone, debt service payments exceeded $70 billion, consuming an increasingly share of public revenues and eroding the fiscal space. He added that these pressures highlight the need for urgent collective action to restore debt sustainability and improve Africa's access to capital on fairer terms. Still in Africa, United Nations countries, including Britain, Spain, Norway, and Sierra Leone, have raised alarm over the treatment of migrants in Libya, a key transit point for Africans fleeing conflict and poverty towards Europe. Norway's ambassador urged Libya to end arbitrary detentions, and Britain called for UN investigators to have unrestricted access. Meanwhile, Libya's acting foreign minister El Taha El Bakr acknowledged the country's struggles, but said Tripoli's UN-backed government is working to ensure human rights are respected during a fragile transition. He cited cooperation with the International Criminal Court and a joint committee to oversee detention centers. On the foreign scene, President Donald Trump has signed a spending bill to reopen the government and end the longest shutdown in U.S. history. He signed a short-term budget into law hours after the House of Representatives voted 222 to 209 to approve it yesterday, and 2 days after, the Senate narrowly approved the same package. In the Oval Office, Trump said the government would now resume normal operations after people were affected from the 43-day shutdown. Reports say many government services have been suspended since October, and around 1.4 million federal employees have been on unpaid leave or working without pay. Still on the foreign scene, Israel's President Isaac Herzog has received a letter from U.S. President Donald Trump formally urging him to fully pardon Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Recall that Netanyahu has been standing trial for the past 5 years on charges of bribery, fraud, and breach of trust in connection with 3 separate cases which he has denied any wrongdoing. In the letter, Trump writes that he respects the independence of Israel's justice system, but he believes Netanyahu is facing a political, unjustified persecution. In response, Herzog's office has said that anyone seeking a pardon should submit a formal request. Meanwhile, there has been no comment from Netanyahu at the time of this report. Still to come in the news, Super Eagles suspends strike, resumes training ahead of 2025 FIFA World Cup playoffs. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. Let's go over to the rest of today's story. On our business news, data from the Central Bank of Nigeria's Business Expectations Survey has revealed that insecurity and erratic power supply have again been identified as the most critical obstacles facing Nigerian businesses. The report revealed that firms across major sectors ranked insecurity highest at 71.8 points, followed closely by insufficient power supply at 70.9 points, high or multiple taxes at 70.2 points, high interest rate at 68.4 points, and financial problems at 65.6 points. Other major constraints highlighted by businesses included high bank charges, 64.7, and unfavorable economic climate, 63.0, and unclear economic laws, 62.3. Poor infrastructure, 58.7, and unfavorable political climate, 57.5, were ranked lowest among the 10 leading challenges. Still in business, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) has stated that the proposed implementation of the 15% of Valorum import duty on imported premium motor spirit and diesel is no longer in view. The Director, Public Affairs Department, NMDPRA, George Eneita, made this known in a statement posted on its X handle today. NMDPRA also assured that there is an adequate supply of petroleum products in the country within the acceptable national sufficiency threshold during its peak demand period. In health, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pate, has said that 280,000 newborn babies die within the first 28 days of life due to the problems of prematurity. Pate disclosed the alarming figure in Abuja during a briefing to commemorate the 2025 World Pneumonia and Prematurity Days, which witnessed the launch of the Nigerian Child Survival Action Plan and the National Birth Defect Surveillance Guideline. The minister said the country also records 162,000 childhood-related deaths annually. Pate, who was represented by the Director of Health Promotion, John Urakba, said data from a Nigerian Demographic and Health Survey revealed that the country's under-5 mortality rate declined from 201 deaths per 1,000 live births in 2000 to 110 in 2023, representing a 45% reduction. He, however, noted that despite this progress, approximately 850,000 preventable newborn and under-5 deaths are predicted to occur annually in Nigeria. Still in health, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun, has announced that Nigeria is seeking to raise nearly 150 billion naira to fund vaccine procurement for 2025 and 2026. Edun revealed these at the 2025 Joint Annual Review of the Health Sector, themed All Hands, One Mission, bringing the Nigerian health sector to light. He added that it is crucial to maximize domestic resource mobilization as today's world depends heavily on multilateral and global collective efforts. The minister, however, noted that reforms and funding would not be fully effective without the participation of state and local government, urging them to increase spending on health and education to complement federal initiatives. Let's move now to sportswear. The Super Eagles have said that they will continue their preparations for the 2026 FIFA World Cup playoffs after boycotting training on Tuesday, 11th November. Recall that the players and their official boycotted training to demand. I'll check that again. Recall that the players and officials boycotted training to demand the payment of the outstanding bonuses and allowances. According to the team's media officer, Promise F4, the players are ready to return to training after meeting with officials of the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) and the National Sports Commission (NSC). The Super Eagles will take on the Panthers of Gabon in the first semi-final of the playoffs at the Prince Herithia Monle El Hassan Sports Complex today. Still in sport, Anthony Joshua is set to fight Jake Paul in a blockbuster heavyweight clash in Miami later this year. The two camps are reportedly close to reaching an agreement in their negotiations. Paul had been scheduled to face American rival Davis on Saturday, but the bout was cancelled following allegations of domestic violence against the latter. Reports say he could now face Joshua on either December 9th or the 12th. On 9010 Men's News, producer and music executive Don Jazzy has claimed that his former signee Wendy Cole has the best vocals in the Nigerian music industry. The Marvin boss made the claim during an interactive session with fans on X, stating that while he has the most unique voice, Wendy Cole has the best. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James. Do enjoy the rest of your day and thank you for watching.